You're for real, baby. There you are.
There we are. Good morning and welcome to the Indy Boomer Show. I'm Mary Pat McKee and publish a magazine called Indy Boomer. This morning I am sitting here with Mike Dempsey.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Indy Mature Living, S.C. Tucker Company.
Well, you saved me. You saved me all that.
There.
That's great. That's great. Well, let's continue jumping in. As you guys see, that is a September cover on the screen there, and that is available at any Kroger or Marsh store in Indianapolis and the surrounding areas. So be sure and pick one of those up. We're working on November right now. Just got your article. Just got your article all laid out. Mike has been with us and writing columns for us for what, a year? Or 2 years, something like that.
Yeah,
at least a year.
Like
you know, when you get older, time flies and you can't remember how long it's been. But it's been.
We don't want to go there.
No, we don't. It doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
But anyway, be sure and pick it up. Mike is and I want you to explain this to everyone. You are all right, let me look. Not that I can see.
Should I save you on this one as well?
Please.
Certified Senior Advisor and a Seniors Real Estate Specialist. Certified Senior Housing Professional.
What's it mean?
What does that mean? So, Certified Senior Advisor is a designation that is given not just to real estate professionals, but to a lot of different professionals, including legal professionals, medical professionals, and it is a specialty that focuses on extremely ethical behavior when you're dealing with the older demographic, and also making sure that you really are the expert. Or close to being the expert. It's tough to be the expert, but very knowledgeable in issues for older adults that include social issues, financial issues, medical issues, housing issues. It's kind of a broad spectrum of issues that affect that the older adults are more vulnerable to, I think.
So do you go through classes or training?
Yeah, sure. Kind of all of the above. So it's actually a pretty rigorous course to study.
Okay.
I think there was like 26 volumes of material that you have to study.
Okay.
And everything is virtual these days. You actually take the classes online, or they can do it live, but many take it online.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to pass a certification test that is pretty comprehensive and pretty difficult, actually. So they take great pride in only certifying those people who are very well prepared to be advocates for older adult homeowners, from baby boomers and baby boomer parents.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this may be a little bit more in depth, but is it IU? I mean, who's
certified? Well, they're called the Society of Certified Senior Advisors. So it's a society that is actually headquartered in Denver, Colorado, and that's what they specialize in, getting people prepared and awarding the designation for those who have prepared to better serve the older demographic. And again, it's not just real estate. Actually, there aren't very many real estate agents that have gone through that level of training to better serve the older adult homeowners.
Well, good. Well, tell me, did they discuss baby boomers at all in that training, as in the respect that baby boomers are helping their parents a lot, or?
Oh, sure.
What did you find?
Yeah, so they cover a lot of different areas that are specific to baby boomers, issues that baby boomers are faced with now and will be faced with in the future in terms of the social infrastructure that may or may not be in place as we reach old age, right? And maybe how we can better prepare for that. But more importantly, how we should better care for our older adult parents. And many of us today have older adult parents. I mean, much more so than in the past. My mom is 91 years old. She's still in pretty good health. And there's a very large percentage of our population that continues to reach old age. And that's going to be more and more of an issue, right, as the baby boomer generation, as we get older.
Right.
And so, the Certified Senior Advisor designation, there is a lot of the content that is that addresses the challenges that our baby boomers are going to face socially and medically and housing, just all of the issues that I suggested earlier.
Right. Well, and what is interesting, I think, is, as you said, a lot of baby boomers are helping their folks.
Right.
But I know, and I'm helping my mom, she's 89, so she's up there too. But I'm keeping in the back of my mind all this information that I'm learning, because I would have never have found out this information or cared to know this information if it wasn't for my mother or for your parents. One thing that I know a lot of folks are doing, well, especially seniors, they're transitioning from either a home into a retirement community, or you and I were talking before the show, they were going into apartments So tell me how you
Sure.
can help with that transition.
Well, part of the problem is there are so many options out there for seniors now that weren't available before.
Right.
So there are something as simple as a smaller single-family residence, like a smaller ranch, but there's patio homes, there's age-restricted communities,
Right.
like Del Webb, for example. There are senior apartment lifestyles there, and the more supportive housing, like independent living and assisted living. So older folks who need to transition, our parents who need to transition out of a long-time home into one of these lifestyles, not everybody has a good support infrastructure. Like not everybody has kids that are going to help them. Not everybody has family that'll help them.
Right.
And there's this, they're overwhelmed with the sensation of being lost, being overwhelmed because they have all these choices. They're not sure what to do. So, and that's where Indy Mature Living comes in, and we have a lot of resources, right, that we can make available to older adult homeowners. And our goal is to be a one-stop shop. We don't have all the answers, but we have somebody who's a resource partner to us that does have the answer, and we want to put that older adult homeowner in touch with the appropriate resource. So it's just a little overwhelming with all the choices that are out there, and by far the single largest issue that older adult homeowners face, at least it's been my experience, is what do I do with all of my stuff?
Yeah.
I have too much stuff. You probably have too much stuff. A lot of people watching this probably have too much stuff. When the time comes to liquidate some of those possessions, and there's a variety of ways to do that.
Right.
I mean, if you don't know how to do it, it's just seemingly it's overwhelming, and
Oh, yeah,
it can paralyze you actually into inaction.
Right.
So, and that's what you want to prevent.
Well, and I have started just from watching my mother, who parents have been married 60-some years.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, but the thing is, I had all this stuff, like you said,
Stuff.
and so and so it came down to myself and my brother and sister. Thank goodness I had siblings to help them figure it out. But I'm starting to purge.
Now's a good time to do that.
Yeah, I know. I don't want my
that.
children to end up in the same scenario.
My wife is a much better purger than I am.
Really?
Yeah, much better. She throws stuff away, and I ask her why she threw it away.
Or where
Or
it
she
is.
got rid of it. Wherever it is. Exactly. But that's the right mentality to have.
Yeah.
You know what? If you haven't
You don't
seen it or
need
you haven't used it in a year,
Yeah.
you don't need it, right? So easy to say, harder to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and I also think for the seniors, again, and I'm sure your mom, maybe your mom's not that way, but my mom has no idea about technology.
Oh, my mom.
Does
She has an iPad.
She does have
She
an
has an iPad.
Okay.
She doesn't know how it works, or it's magic.
Okay.
Right? It's magic.
Well, my mom has seen it, and we tried checkers, and that was too much. So, but my point being is that without the resources that baby boomers can give to their parents, you used to go and buy a cup of coffee. Now you go and buy a cup of coffee, and it's, do you want a latte? Do you want
Oh my gosh, yeah.
there's like 10 bazillion choices on anything.
Yeah.
So, going back to the resources you talked about.
Sure.
Just to kind of let people know, the resources you're talking about is you have people who can help people move.
Oh, of course.
You have medical people that may be able to answer some kind of medical. Tell me the resources.
Okay, so it's a pretty lengthy list. I'll try to, I guess, hit the highlights, I suppose. Elder law attorneys.
Okay.
Financial advisors who are centric to an older demographic, to an older population. They're aware of the financial issues.
Right.
Estate liquidators for people who have a whole lot of stuff. They need to find a way to get rid of it. And there's a variety of choices there. Professional sorters and packers and downsizers and move managers who can coordinate everything, right? And at Indy Mature Living, we like to facilitate that, right? So instead of the older adult homeowner managing all the time frames and all the milestones that need to be accomplished, we'll do that for them with our resource partners who are these specialists.
Who you've used before and are quality.
Absolutely right. They're all properly vetted by me, and I ensure that we are on parallel paths. We have like minds in terms of being advocates for older adult homeowners, baby boomers and their parents, right? So they have a heart for this, and many times it's less a wallet issue and more of a heart issue, and that's what I'm really looking for, right? Somebody's going to be a good advocate. But anyway,
Well, I think that's important too, especially like a baby boomer. I know I keep going back to the baby boomers, but the reason I do is because they're working. I mean, I'm working, you're working. I mean, we're all still working, and to not have to have, I hate to say, the headaches of trying to figure all this out for their parents, which it does become.
They are. I mean, many baby boomers are are not only trying to manage a career still, but like us, we're taking care of our parents or older parents. Many are taking care of their children or grandchildren. I mean, a very surprising statistic, actually, the number of grandparents that take care of their grandchildren. It's pretty high. Right? So we have all these things tugging on us as baby boomers, and we're all trying to squeeze too much stuff into too little time.
Yeah.
And over a lengthy period of time, there's a penalty that you pay for that, health-wise and financially, and it's just it's a burden. It can be a
it's
burden.
better to me, and we advocate this all the time on this show. Ask an expert. I mean,
oh, absolutely.
Who's going to know this stuff?
Sure.
Except somebody that does it all day long and every day.
Yeah.
Like yourself.
Absolutely right. So, and I encourage people all the time to use professional people, whether it's me or our resource partner or not. At the end of the day, use professionals who know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And I
mean, time and money.
Absolutely, save you a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of headache, a lot of stress, and there's a value, right? There's a value associated with what they do. It makes our lives a lot simpler. And people, obviously, and for good reason, are always concerned about the expense, of engaging some of these professionals. But part of the vetting process is at Indy Mature Living is we have a thorough understanding of what they charge.
Yeah.
And if there's an issue with that, then if need be, I will have the conversation with one of my resource partners. If it's out of line.
Like representing the client.
Absolutely right.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but you're absolutely right. Using professionals, take full advantage of the expertise that they bring.
Yeah.
It will make your life a lot easier, and keep it simple, right?
Yeah, exactly. We have, like I mentioned, we're getting ready to publish the November issue. We'll be here November 3rd. You wrote an article about elder and elderly. Talk a little bit about
Sure,
that.
And it struck me.
Don't give it all away.
No, I won't. I won't. I was actually shopping for a special occasion card, and I was in one of the specialties card
Like
shops.
Hallmark.
Hallmark.
Yeah.
I think it was a Hallmark here in Indianapolis, and I was overwhelmed. I just took a look at all of the cards that are available, and it kind of came to mind that an anthropologist at some point in the future could really learn a whole lot about us if he just had all of these specialty cards. He would know a whole lot about our society.
Yeah.
And so, being interested in baby boomers and baby boomer parents, I kind of went to the section where it spoke about older folks and some of the challenges they have. Birthdays for older people, anniversaries for older people, happy retirement, all of that. Yeah. And it was just really amazing that all of the cards, they made light of the fact that some of the issues that we face when we're getting older. And of course, you have to laugh at these things. I mean, you might as well, because we don't have any recourse, right?
Right.
We might as well keep our sense of humor about it. But I just thought it was interesting that, and I got to thinking that our society, and maybe that's not fair to say a blanket statement, but for the most part, our very old seniors, we kind of look at them as they're elderly, and we have preconceived notions about the elderly in this country. It's our culture to believe that they can do less than they were able to do. They're not as sharp cognitively or mentally or physically, and you hear about making fun of the elderly, and not maybe intentionally, but some of the things that we say,
I think they're kind of put away.
Absolutely, and they are. You're absolutely right. We kind of put them on a shelf or kind of get them out of the way, where many other cultures around the world actually consider them to be the elderly. They are to be their elders, rather, to be respected, and they're full of wisdom, and they have things to contribute, things to teach us, because they lived in a very different time. They lived in a time where culture, community rather, was very important. And today, the more isolated we are many times, the better we feel. Like if we're isolated from our neighbors, or we're isolated from the rest of the world, so to speak. Autonomy is king, I think I said in the article. We live amongst strangers for the most part. And I kind of made the point in the article that years ago, even a funeral really was a social event where people shared food and they took the opportunity to catch up and all of that. And now we go to a funeral and we don't even know 3/4 of the people.
Right.
So we're not a culture of community anymore like our parents were. It was very...
or how we were raised.
Or how we were raised. That's actually very true. I remember my cousins, they would come over on a regular basis.
Yeah,
We'd have big family reunions,
every
and
weekend, yeah.
and I just don't see that a lot anymore. And that all comes back to elderly versus elders and the respect that I think we should maintain for the very old
Yeah.
in our society and give them kind of their proper
Well,
place.
I think they should still even respect the kind of old, which would be you and me.
Depends on the day you ask me, right? It might be kind of old, really old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but that is interesting, and it makes you wonder sometimes how we moved away from that.
We did, yeah. It
I
is
mean, I don't
interesting.
know if it. I hate to say it, maybe it was technology. Technology's great, but life seems to have gotten a lot faster.
Absolutely, and I think technology, like you mentioned, had a lot to do with that.
Yeah,
I mean, 'cause
good and bad.
absolutely, it's a double-edged sword. We
It
can do a
really
lot
is.
of things virtually that we had to do face-to-face
Right.
in the past, and we don't have to do that anymore. And I think many people would prefer to do things virtually.
I would. Oh, you do?
face-to-face. I would prefer to do
You're
things
saying,
face-to-face.
yeah,
right?
me
But a lot
too.
of
I'm
people-
the face to face. I would
Yeah.
rather talk to somebody on the phone or go see them versus emailing because
I'm
you
with
can't
you.
tell what they're thinking on email.
That's right. No, you can't.
You think you do.
Absolutely right,
You
yeah.
think you know, and then
Yeah.
you actually talk to them, and it's different. So
Yeah.
anyway, I've gone off on a different tangent. I'm so sorry. well, you were talking about
Yeah,
cards
yeah.
in the.
It's my fault.
Yeah, it's
I'll
your
take-
fault,
I'll
Mike.
take the hit.
We'll give it to you.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you guys for watching. Want to remind everybody that Sunday is Boomer TV on Channel 8 at 10:30 Sunday morning. And also, don't forget to pick up the September issue of Indie Boomer at Indie Kroger or Marsh store, and look for the November issue in a couple weeks. It'll be out. We've got Ann Ryder on the cover, and we're excited. It's a great, great story about a great lady that she is.
Absolutely.
So, anyway, thanks again, and thanks for coming, Mike.
Hey, thanks for having me.
You're welcome,
Yeah.
and we'll see y'all next time. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.